Hello and welcome to another episode of the Middle Order Cricket Podcast. Today I am joined by Khizar Ali, Kashif, Ahmed and Waqas Mehmood. We are in the middle of the T20 World Cup and will continue to look at Pakistan's journey through the T20 World Cup so far. Check out our previous episode where we covered the demolition of India. Today we cover that match against New Zealand, which ended in a victory, but it didn't always look like it. Khizar, before we sort of begin and look at the game, were you nervous about this game at all after a big win against India? Do you think there could have been some complacency?
Yeah, there's always complacency with Pakistan. You know, when people said, Sada World Cup, the India no harana si, that was it. Beat India, that's it. We don't give a shit what happens after this. I really enjoyed the video that there was of Babar Azam in the dressing room after the game, telling the boys, enjoy today, and then take it from there when we've got, you've got big games to come. It's not done. The aim is to win the World Cup. It wasn't to be India. So bit of complacency, but the team seems to be different to the old Pakistan. So yeah, I mean, obviously, beating India, playing against New Zealand's not really going to have the same kind of butterflies in your stomach. But yeah, there was a bit of that there.
Kashif, as much as complacency, do you think inconsistency, which we know all about with Pakistan, could have played a part?
Looking at stats, and I can't help looking at stats, Pakistan's record against New Zealand, they've played 7 matches prior. Pakistan's only lost 1. It's a bit of a skewed figure because they've not played a lot of T20 games in UAE conditions in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. But the other thing that you have to bear in mind, New Zealand's only played about 9 T20 games in the UAE. We've only won twice out of those. So bearing those stats in mind, I was quite confident that Pakistan has tremendous experience. The last time Pakistan actually lost a game, any T20 game in the UAE, you have to go back to 2015.
So, Waqas, maybe you can touch on that. Were you really looking forward to this game as a way of giving it back to New Zealand after they pulled out of the tour?
To be fair, I don't think it made any difference. They were, even if they played that tour, it would have been good. But obviously, that they pulled out last minute, literally before the toss, and then coming to this game, it was going to be a big game. To be fair, New Zealand are still a good side in T20, but I think Pakistan were, they were just upbeat. They were just, we'll just go as it is, and they did it, and they beat them, which is a good, because they've going forward would have been a wee boost for them as well for the ahead of the games.
Yep. So let's look at.
I think there was a bit of spice because I mean, there was Ramiz Raja who mentioned it. We're going to get payback. There was players who kind of tweeted about it. So there was a bit of embarrassment, that Pakistan were made to feel by New Zealand coming literally before the toss. All the foreplay and no action. So just left us at the very last minute. There was everyone did feel a bit like this doesn't reflect well on us, and after everything that we'd gone through to try and get cricket back. So I think there was a bit of payback due, and I think we did it the right way as well. Didn't rub it in, just give them a beating.
It's a bit hard to hold a grudge against this New Zealand team. They're all quite nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they're too nice.
Let's go ahead and look at some of the big performances, and I think from a bowling point of view, Haris Rauf, second game in a row, he really brought the fire and really changed the game in sort of 2 bursts of fast bowling. He was brought on in the 6th over for 1 over. Score was 36 for naught, and he took the wicket of Martin Guptill, and then later on he came on towards the back end to finish off his 3 remaining overs, and in his sort of second over in that spell he took 2 wickets, and both times he really changed the momentum of the game. Kashif, just how big an impact did he have?
Tremendous. One thing that struck me about Haris Rauf is he's following a game plan, and that is bowling stump to stump. He's hitting the ground hard, and he's bowling at a pretty good pace around the 85 mph mark in general. but he's also mixing it up with the slow deliveries as well. So there's a lot of thought going on as well. In fact, I remember there was a spell where he just suddenly started bowling the slow deliveries. I think it was 3 in a row, 4 in a row. He's done that in the last few games actually. So and he's accurate. So this is a player that's top of his game, and really I think Pakistan are lucky to have him. He's come just out of nowhere. We all know it, that it was the playing in the Big Bash that he kind of got that limelight, because he was being ignored from the team. But I think he's one of those late bloomers. But and I can see him becoming better as the tournament progresses.
Waqas, what do you think he's changed in the last couple of games that has led to some super performances? I mean, before that, his economy has been hovering around 9, and he's averaging just 1 wicket a game. But over the last 2 games, he really seems to have stepped up.
Yeah, I think obviously the PSL as well. He's improved. He's improved a lot. Before he has been expensive. Like 4 overs, 40 runs, 35. Then all that. But I think coming on, Babur's put him on like the right time. He's been coming on the right time, and look, if you look at the India game, and then if you look at the New Zealand game, his economy has been right low as well. Like especially against New Zealand, I think it was 2 for 23. Sorry, 3 for 23 or whatever. So he has improved big time. Before against other teams, he has been really expensive, and then that's been quite a concern, because apart from him, there's no one else there apart from him and Hassan Ali. But I think since the T20 started, and it's been a big boost for Pakistan, and I think he's bowled really well at the four overs he's been given. First few overs he might have been quite expensive, but he has bought it back.
Move on to talk a little bit about the spinners who bowled 9 overs between them for 59 runs, economy of 6.5. I think it's been really great to see some good spin combinations through various teams. So if you look at Australia, you've got Zampan, Agar, Rashid, Moeen and Livingston for England, Shamsi and Maharaj for South Africa, and Santner and Sodhi for New Zealand. How, Kashif, would you compare our spinners or batch of spinners against those combinations?
We're quite lucky in that we've got 2 experienced bowlers. I mean, if you look at Shoaib, it's quite amazing. He's still 23 years old. He has, I think, about 4 or 5 seasons of PSL behind him now. The PSL actually has been a fantastic finishing school, if you like, or at least starting mid-term school for these spinners to pick up their trade. But they're both attacking bowlers. Ahmed has been opening the bowling for quite some time now, and I'm sure that has given him that confidence and belief. And in fact, I've not seen Ahmed bowl so well. He's very accurate. He's been very accurate. If you look at his bowling, he's again attacking the stumps. It reminded me, I mean, I'm not comparing him to Saklan, but it reminded me some little bit of Saklan, how Saklan was used as an attacking bowler in the limited overs format.
Yep, Khizar, individually, you might not consider any one of them as a world-class spinner that's going to go down as a great, but collectively they do a great job.
Hafiz is in there for his batting. Malik's there as a backup option that might be used. Shadab is playing because of his fielding and his batting rather than just his bowling. But his bowling has been a lot more consistent since the World Cup started, and it was him that I was most afraid of, that he could end up going for a few, but he's kept it well. Something that you mentioned, Cash, but I want to talk about is Ahmed. Ahmed Hussain knows what he's doing. When he's bowling at the start, they're arm balls, he's running it along the seam with his index finger. When he's coming on later, he's slowing it down. He's giving it loop and he's allowing the ball to turn, and he's getting some turn. He might not always be brought back, but I guess what the advantage that they have is if they want the ball turning away from somebody, a right-hander, they've got Ahmed there. They've got Hafiz there for the left-handers. So it's like Waqas said, collectively, it's what they bring and the other aspects of the game rather than what they are individually.
Waqas, were you a little bit nervous when Pakistan were 87 for 5 after 15 overs? They needed another 50 runs to win. Malik and Asif Ali were just newly in. Obviously, Fakhar Zaman and Hafiz had sort of failed, making 11 runs each. especially considering Malik and Asif Ali maybe not in particularly great form. What were your thoughts at that point?
Yeah, I was a bit worried when they were 8-7-5. I thought this is going to be probably a last over. Probably they might take it to a last over, but I think the way Malik and Asif batted, I thought this is to prove Pakistan. These guys, they can do it. Especially Malik, he's been there for since so many years, and Asif, there's been times where he has been coming in, getting a score, then getting out, but I felt as if the way he batted, it was under pressure. The way he got the runs there, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, why is he in the squad? He's had so many chances." But this was his time to prove everyone that I'm there for a reason. But I felt the way they two batted under pressure and they got their runs till last 1 over to spare. It was brilliant. It was just overall, especially Asif, who's been under pressure. He's been in and out of team, coming in, going out, but it was just probably for him to prove everyone that I'm probably there. I'm the right person. I'm here. I'm the hitter.
Yeah, because I think saying he was under pressure is probably an understatement. I don't think I've seen a player more despised than Asif Ali in recent years due to
Misbah ul-Haq, duck.
Yeah, for various reasons throughout his career. But when a batsman like Asif Ali comes into the crease, and it comes off like it did, it looks amazing. And similarly, if it doesn't come off, the batsman can look clueless. Was there anything noticeably different about this innings or when he came out, his demeanour or the way he was playing, that explains this sort of sudden success he had?
I mean, looking back at the way he's done it in the PSL, because let's be honest, he's not done it for Pakistan before. We mentioned Rauf with a lot of pressure on him and a lot of naysayers saying, what's he doing in the team? Asif Ali had the same. And Malik was brought in, I would say Malik was brought in last minute, but, I always felt this is a guy who's done it. Hafiz, to some extent, has had success in middle order. But Asif Ali, a specialist batsman on that more than one occasion, including that occasion, batting below Ahmed and who else was it? One of the other bowlers came ahead as well.
It was just Ahmed in this case.
Yeah, so he's very much being thought of by the think tank in the sense that this is a Bevan or who's the South African guy that they've got
Klusner.
now? No.
Previously, Miller. David Miller.
Miller, yeah. Very much in that fold in the sense that 2 overs to win as a game, no matter what the situation. Expectations weren't there, no matter what you said. Even the biggest Asif Ali fan must have been thinking, oh shit, here we go again.
I don't know. I think Azam Iqbal, who is Asif Ali's biggest fan, would say
he's full of shit. But let's be honest, he is full of shit. He also said that the West Indies were going to lift this World Cup. He came on yesterday. He didn't even comb his hair. I mean, he doesn't take this thing seriously. So I think we need to put aside what Azam says, and we've got a decent bunch of professional people here whose opinions matter. Let's talk about them. So Asif Ali, great to see what he's done. The people who backed him, well done to you. But I mean, he's been what he's been. All the stories coming out about what he's been through with his daughter, you wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So respect to the guy, and him knowing his job and him taking that on board like he did. Also after that, I know we're not on that game yet, but the fact that he knows this is what he's there to do. This team just looks so good in that respect. Everyone knows what their role is. Everyone knows this is what I'm supposed to do. And, that it was great to see. It wasn't expected. It could have, like you said, it could look, if it comes off, it looks great. If it doesn't, then, we're all blaming everyone else before him. Like we've always done, they let the rate get too high. It was so-and-so's fault. They took it deep, because that's what you had to do, because we had nobody else coming in after that.
Kashif, Asif Ali, this is a man whose previous strike rate has only been 120. He's averaging, just 1.6 a game and a total average of 18 per game, in the run-up to this over, several years now. A man Pakistan fans had no faith in whatsoever. How did he pull it off?
Yeah, it's... I did notice a couple of things about his batting, actually. One is that he's playing the ball on merit, actually. He's hitting the ball hard. he's staying very balanced at his crease, and depending on where the ball is landing, he's not doing preemptive shots. By the way, his plan is to hit the ball hard as he can, but he's playing it on merit. So there is some thought to the process. Now, I think in previous games he was doing a bit of improvisation, and I guess it was a bit of back to basics too, where, and this kudos to management here. I guess they were looking at his old replays from the IPL games where he has, lit fire, So I think they've reminded him on his strengths of his batting, and I think Khizar touched upon this as well. It's a collective. So they told him, your job is last 2-3 overs. We want you to come in, reminding him of how he's got to stay at his crease and play the ball merit, but hit the ball hard as he can. And it was amazing. I think it was the first ball 6. Maybe I think that was the second innings, but it was a man with confidence all of a sudden. And where he got that confidence, I guess the management's backing, the management believe in him completely. They've told him, totally disregard what's happened in your previous games playing for us. And, I was amazed, like all of the fans as well. I was expecting, here we go again. Asif's going to block a few. He's going to have a swing and he's going to get out. But he got hit on the head as well. Or was it his neck? Was it?
No, it was. He got hit on
and that didn't deter him, which says a lot about the man, because he was super focused. But it's good news for Pakistan fans alike that we've got a man who's at a big stage, under pressure, has finally delivered, and this could be the turning point for him.
Can I just say, I love the fact that on Twitter and everywhere else, the Indian media are bigging up this guy like he's the next coming. This guy, Asif Ali. Only if we had Asif Ali, only if Pandya could play like Asif Ali. You gotta love that. You gotta love it.
Yep. Let's move on to some final thoughts. Waqas, any changes that spring to mind for you based on the couple of games that we've talked about, India and New Zealand?
No, I don't think so. The changes, I will still stick with the team. I will still go with the same team, till the end. I mean, I know Hussain Ali, he's been up and down, but I will still keep him in. Give him a few more, and then he'll be back where he is. But I think going forward, his team's perfect. They've all done their role. They've all been great, especially the bowling. You look at the fielding, then you look at the batting. So I think everyone's done their own job, their own role. So for me, I don't think they should make any change.
Khizar, how much of a factor did the toss play in the last couple of games?
I think the toss played a factor, definitely. But it was something that Imam said after the first game in an interview, and he said, look, I wouldn't mind bowling in the evening. He said, I quite enjoy in the UAE having the ball slide on and zip on, because it goes, that suits us. Our bowlers are skiddy bowlers. Okay, it's going to be an issue come the 10th over when the seam is genuinely wet, but the dew has not been a factor to that extent where the ball's got genuinely wet. It's been dew there. They managed to use towels and stuff and get on with it. But the Pakistan bowlers, with the way they bowl, would probably enjoy that. And, the toss aside, I think this team wants to be tested, but it's got something to cover out. We've got our best 2 batsmen at the top, as Kashif said. We've got the experience in the middle order. Great having Malik back, just for the point that this guy, Malik, is the most successful tournament winner. Going back to Sialco Stallions, his wins in the Caribbean and everywhere else. This guy is a serial winner. He knows how to take a team forward. It's great for Babar to have that experience there. He's one of the best fielders out there to have it long on when the pump is on. And also, like we said, for somebody like him to be finishing a game, because there are going to be times when we're chasing a score and we need to be getting 12, 10, 15 in the last few overs. And it's fine having Hussain Ali can come in and swing a few who we've not had to use yet. We've got Asif Ali doing well, but having that experience there to kind of plan it, target the overs, target the areas, who you're going to hit where, who's coming on next. Great to have. I'm not that concerned. No matter where we go in this tournament, whether we win the toss or we lose the toss, we've got most areas covered. Yes, you're going to come up against a strong England in the final, presuming we get there. Whoever we see in the semis, presuming we get there, we've got a really tough game against England. but I'm not bothered about winning the toss or losing the toss. I'm also something that Waqas mentioned about keeping the same team, all for it. Even though I really want to see Haider Ali and I want to see Usman Khader play, but we can win this World Cup with this team and this combination. Those guys have got plenty of years ahead of them. We'll see them again.
Kashif, off the back of Pakistan's first couple of games, how confident are you with their just sort of general demeanour, just general performance and how far they can get? And are they going to have to rely on their varied bowling attack? Or do you think, the batting has enough strength in there as well?
Yeah, the demeanour is fantastic. There is no... in the past, we've seen politics play a hand in this harmony within the team. There's none of that in this team. It's a young team. They've brought back the experience of Malik. Hafiz is there. So, like I said, it's a unified team. I think actually the cancellations of England and New Zealand actually galvanized the team and the nation as a whole. And that reflected that the team actually reflects the mindset of the nation actually somewhat, where they're playing as one team and they're totally focused on going out and they want to win this tournament. England's, apart from Pakistan, England is being touted as the favourites of the tournament, and rightfully so because of their fantastic squad and some real good players. But like Khizar, I'm extremely confident because we have everything. We have, variety in terms of the batting, in terms of the bowling, and I'm all for keeping the team constant playing because it's a short format. It's only 20 overs. They're not going to get they're not going to face a lot of deliveries. Not everybody's going to get a lot of experience, match experience. So they need to keep the same team, keep them going, so they'll have confidence, learn from their mistakes and improve as they go on.
Great, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. We are going to continue this journey of looking at Pakistan's competition so far, with the next episode being the Pakistan-Afghanistan game. And thereafter, we'll look ahead to what is now a guaranteed semi-final against, we don't quite know who, but it's most likely not going to be England, which I think a lot of people, especially Khizar, is breathing a sigh of relief for. But until then, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.